Bang, bang. What's going on, guys? You're tuned to another edition of The Main Event on Talkin Hands. So as I'm your host, Preston, joined by my co-host, Mr. Danny Betts. We're to break down this weekend's huge main event fight. We have the return of Canelo Alvarez as he takes on Jermell Charlo. Before we get into that fight, going to recap last week's breakdown, last week's fight. Unfortunate loss for us, Joe Joyce. Same old Joe Joyce, I guess. I don't know what to say. Joe Joyce gets knocked out in round 3 by Zhang. Danny, thoughts on the fight, Joyce's performance, or rather lack thereof performance, and really the future for him because he's up there in age.
Like I was saying in the breakdown, I don't know what the future is, especially if he lost. This was a big fight for him, getting the rematch, trying to get some redemption and keep going on to his career. But there's a saying, it says, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And that's exactly what happened to us, picking George Joyce for the second time in this rematch and the first fight. But hey, shout out to Zhang, 40 years old, still getting it done. He put him to sleep. Like Joyce was on the mat, just his hand like this. Like he was like laying on his hand, like he was done, bro. Like Zhang really closed the door on the rematch and made a statement again. I don't know who's gonna fight him because it's like a lose-lose. Like you could get knocked out by this guy because he's got legit power and it's not great. There's no upside at all. So I don't know what's the future for Zhang. That's the real question.
Yeah, I agree with you. Shout GTM in the chat and Marcavius Kuzer as well. Yeah, I saw Zhang post-fight. He called out Tyson Fury. We know Tyson Fury's fighting next month against Ngannou. Who knows what he chooses to do after he defeats Ngannou, if he will fight Usyk, Zhang, retire, whatever. Because Fury, as much as I like him, he's definitely he doesn't really care anymore. He kind of let himself go in the gym. Seems like he's not even really training. He's looking pretty flabby. So I don't know how serious he is to take on a big opponent, challenger. But hopefully Zhang gets the big fight. I would love to see Zhang go in there against Usyk or whoever. Great performance by Zhang, Joe Joyce. I think it's kind of stinks, but it's almost time to step away or really lower your level of competition, because even Eddie Hearn in the post fight was saying he's advising him to retire, which is unfortunate. But when you get knocked out that bad, especially the second fight, first fight was bad, but the second fight was worse. You got to reevaluate things for sure. Shall link in the chat, James Parm as well. What's going on, fellas? So now that that's out the way, now we can get and break down this week's fight, the fight you guys are all here to hear us talk about. Return of Canelo Alvarez. Canelo defended his title at 168, taking on Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo is moving up from 154 to 168. He hasn't fought since knocking out Castano. I believe that was last May. Current odds for this fight at our favorite book, mybookie.ag, promo code PUBSPORTS, have Canelo Alvarez as a minus 400 favorite. Come back on Charlo plus 300. Danny, what are your initial thoughts? Do you think Charlo gets it done, or can he get it done, or will Canelo cruise to victory here? Big fight.
Another big fight this year, man. This year for boxing has been crazy. I love this fight. I don't know, man. Of course, if you get that phone call to fight Canelo, you can't turn it down. So, Canelo's got 3 fights with PBC. Charlo, he made me some good money. His last fight, in the rematch against Castano, I had him around 7-12. I think it was like plus 300 or something like that. He really improved in that fight. He actually listened to his coaches and did, a better game plan and got the knockout late. But the first fight, I thought he lost. Against Castano, it was a draw, which was bullshit to me. And I had money on Charlo. So that lets you know right now, my opinion, is not biased or anything like that. It's the opposite, actually. Shout out to everybody in the chat. This is a huge fight. You know, Canelo coming off that fight with John Ryder. And I think people are like too hard on him on that fight. Like he beat the guy's ass. Like
Yeah.
he looked a little slower at the end of the fight. He didn't knock him out. He knocked him down a couple times. He beat the shit out of him. Like John Ryder shot to him. He was tough as hell. Definitely, and he's still. I was saying this in that breakdown. Canelo's still trying to get his hand 100%. And I know, fighters say this and that. I had a great game, camp and things like that. He said this is the first camp in a while that he's been 100%. His hand's perfectly fine. I wasn't able to do the things I wanted to do, like for the Bilbao fight and for other fights. But after that, so I'm going with his word. I do believe it. I do think there's a little bit of decline because, like the head movement. That's what I'm saying. Like back in the day, he was quicker, with the head movement. Now he's a little slower when it comes to that. But besides that, everything else is still there. Body punching, pressure. The dude, like, look up his punch stats. Like, he's number one when it comes to, besides Durante Tank Davis too. But these guys don't throw the most volume, but they're super accurate. And when they hit you, it's like, it's not a little jab here and there. It's effective punching. Like, judges love that. It's just not like little punches here and there that touches the gloves or gets blocked. So he's great at picking his shots, stalking you, being patient. I think this is just too much for Charlo, in my opinion. Charlo coming up 2 weight classes.
Yeah.
From 154 being undisputed. Hey, like I said, you can't say no to Charlo, Canelo. That big payday and a shot to get undisputed at 168. I mean, of course, that's legacy right there. But Charlo, man, I think this is a perfect matchup for Canelo, in my opinion, because Charlo, good boxer, good range, good jab, good counters. But he has trouble like fighting in the inside, and Castano showed you that. Like, he was having issues with that, and Castano is not Canelo. He's a smaller version, less power, less everything. And you're telling me that Charlo's gonna come up 2 weight classes and beat Canelo here? Say what you want. Oh, he's declining. He's not ready. I think the opposite. Another thing too, the injury with Charlo too, the layoff, almost 2 years, a year and a half around there. I think it's just too much. Can he shock the world? You never know. I mean, he's boxing at the end of the day. But my money's gonna be on Canelo, man. He's gotta show me, like, Charlo's gotta have the best boxing match of his life, and I haven't seen it. Like, I haven't seen it yet, so I gotta see that. Like, you're telling me you gotta win like 7, 8 rounds outboxing Canelo? I doubt that. Another thing, like I said earlier, Canelo has the 3 fights with PBC, and you're telling me if I'm them, you have a plan B. If this fight is pretty close, you're telling me they're gonna give it a Charlo? No.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah.
So, I'm thinking to bet. I mean, I'll say my best bets later, but I'm going with Canelo by decision. I think it's at -110. I see -120 somewhere else. I don't think he stops him. I'll be surprised a little bit if he stops Charlo late. If he does, it's gonna be late. You could probably hedge a little bit, like 9-12 or something like that. But I'm also, I'll probably put like 3.3 units on decision and then sprinkle a little bit on the draw, just in case. Because I've been screwed with draws before, and this is that type of fight. If it's close and their plan B is to give the draw, and boom, you still got 2 fights with the PBC. You could get a mirror match. You could fight somebody else on PBC, Benavidez. Like, they got options.
Yeah.
That's how I see this going, business-wise. So I got to go with Canelo. I think Charlo's still going to – it's a win-win for him because I think he'll have success in this fight. And I think he's just going to fall short. I think he's just going to get outworked by Canelo and win. Canelo's going to win by decision.
Yeah, so I believe it was yesterday, I want to say. So you tweeted about potentially having a side bet, right?
Yeah.
So when you tweeted that, I thought you were picking Charlo. I was like convinced. So I'm like, let me watch more Canelo and more Charlo, because I could see arguments for both guys, but in the back of my head, the way Charlo gets hit, and he gets hit way too often, hard, hard not to take Canelo here, especially with what we said earlier, moving up two weight classes, giving up. Like, I get it, Canelo, he did get hit by Ryder, he got hit by Triple G, but he didn't get hurt. He was hurting Ryder, and like you said, he knocked him down. It was pretty bad. Eddie's just sharper with his punches. Charlo, he looked good against Castano in moments, not for the whole fight. Moments he looked very good. Other times Castano's hitting him just with like straight lefts, hooking his ass, and then Castano just didn't have the power to really hurt him. If he gets hit with that shot by Canelo, I think Charlo could eventually go down. Because I actually think this is going to be actually a pretty good fight.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think it's going to be a boring fight at all. I think both guys are going to get hit. I just side with the defense and just pure boxing capability of a Canelo over Charlo. Because I don't think Charlo is able to fight what you said with the boxing, 12 rounds behind a jab. He's not going to do that. He's going to put himself into danger, like you said, on the inside. Canelo, what I think is going to happen, I really think Canelo is going to catch him with an uppercut coming in and like hurt him bad, and then go at his body, maybe drop him late. But yeah, I like Canelo here, and I've been seeing a lot of Charlo love as well. Like Marcavius here, Charlo wins easy. Y'all stop it.
Screenshot that. Hold up.
Which I mean,
You think I'm playing?
I see it, but I see it more for the odds because Canelo has looked poor. However, he can do.
See, that's what I disagree with because like a lot of people are saying that. You know me. I don't. You hear me in UFC with the guys and stuff, and sometimes people don't know how to use words. I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, he looked like shit. He looked poor." I'm like, no, he didn't. He beat his ass. You're not seeing what you thought you were gonna see. Like Canelo.
Right.
When was the last time? That's that's what you're talking about. He didn't look poor. I mean, if anything, why don't people say that about Charlo when he fought Castano in the first fight? He lost that fight. He should have lost. He looked bad. He looked poor. He was going to the ropes a lot. Not listening to his coaches, and then trying to bang it out with the guy. Like he was playing into his game. I just think, and then I mean, there's either you're a Canelo fanboy or the haters are just anything that Canelo does, they just hate. Like even with this fight, he don't fight nobody. Oh well, Charlo's moving up 2 weight classes, so I'm like,
I mean
can't win.
That's something like I'm not a huge Canelo fan, but it's hard to argue with his resume of opponents. Canelo fights everyone. He didn't have to fight Bivol.
Not according to a lot of people, bro.
Like Bivol at 175 is a fucking
exactly, bro. Like
horrible fight for him. It's a lose-lose.
What would Bivol do to Charlo? I mean, that's not even fair, but like,
yeah, he would knock him out. He would jab the shit out of him for 12 rounds and beat the hell out of him badly. Right. But yeah, no, I agree, and I do think Charlo got both of them. Really, the other Charlo brothers even worse with layoffs and not wanting.
Oh, he's going through a lot of stuff. That dude.
Yeah,
I think he lost it mentally. Like I don't know if you've seen some of his lives and videos and stuff. That guy seems a little, I know mental illness and stuff. But he's not looking good right now, bro. I'm kind of worried. Like,
yeah, because like you're saying, so PBC, they really did put a lot of money, time, and effort behind the Charlo brothers.
Yeah.
To prop them up. They'd be on Fox all the time, main events. But against like cans, like fodder, highlight reel knockouts. Then they fought some legitimate competition, get tested, and I'm not saying their skills are lacking or diminished. It's they never caught up with the pure boxing. They get hit too much. Like Charlo got hit way too much by Castano. I watched the rematch yesterday.
That overhand right.
Yeah.
Imagine Canelo's. That's what worries me when it comes to me having a decision bet, because I can't see a late knockout. It's just, and don't get me twisted, bro. Like it's like I think round 7 to 12 is like plus 500. They're tempting me, but I'm not. We'll see. I still like decision though, and draw just in case.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, fight goes is like minus 240 right now,
Yeah.
so definitely they are leaning that way. But yeah, I'm gonna probably. Boy, I don't know what the best bet is because I actually do think Canelo's going to knock him out. Maybe I'll take Canelo knockout like late. Uh, but yeah, I think it's a great fight. I think it's a very entertaining fight.
Yes, this card, bro.
Yeah,
Great,
and speaking on that, we can. What's co-main? Is the co-main event the Lubin fight? Maybe.
I don't know the lineup. I mean, on Tapology they got Tapology. They have Lubin and Ramos. The third fight is Elijah Garcia and Renadis, and Ugas and Barrios. I think is opening up the main.
Yeah, so we saw Jesus Ramos' last fight. He beat up Joey Spencer, looked very good. Maybe Joey Spencer had an off night. Who knows? But Jesus Ramos looked very good. He's had a lot of power and just broke him down. We've seen Erickson Lubin fight many times before. He got knocked out by Charlo early on, and then that last loss was against the guy who I can't get right, Taurin Inferno, Sebastian Fandora. He knocks out Lubin. I think it was around 8 or around 9. Lubin did have some success in that fight, but he just couldn't crack Fandora's chin. Danny, your thoughts on this fight, which should be, I think, a barn burner. I think it's going to be a very good fight.
Yeah, man. I love Ramos. Like, this kid, he made me some money against Spencer. I was surprised they had, like, the KO props, like, so high. Like, the late props were like plus 350, plus 400. So I cashed on those. But this kid is for real, bro. I really like this kid. I think this is a setup fight for him. Like, why you think he's on this card? Like, I'm telling you. Like, Lubin, that chin is shaky as hell. He got knocked out by a jab by Charlo in the first round. Fandora beat his ass. I mean, that was a war, one of the best fights of the year. Because Lubin knocked him down too, Fandora. But he really took a beating in that fight too. But Ramos is a different animal in my opinion. Like, he's gonna keep going forward, those bombs, and people are gonna know his name after this fight. I think he gets a KO. Fandor has a minus 150. I think that's the best number because I've seen like minus 188 around there. I think he knocks him out. If you want to parlay his money line, be safer. I'm gonna do that too. I love the KO prop for Ramos, and I think he gets him out of there, bro. Probably like 6th, 7th round. It's a 12 rounder too, bro. So you telling me Lubin's gonna be safe against this? Nah, 12 rounds he ain't gonna be safe for Ramos, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you could, if you're watching the fight live betting, I don't know how great live betting is for boxing. I've really never done it or seen it too much. I do think Lubin could knock off the first few rounds, but eventually the power will, we've seen fights like this happen a lot. The power is going to accumulate. He's going to get hurt. Maybe he gets cut on the eye. And then Ramos, what Ramos did to Spencer was very, very impressive. I know.
Dude, nothing. Like nothing.
Yeah.
And that was like I want to say he was like a slight favorite. He was just like minus 140 or something.
Yeah, I was going to say PBC, they were doing a lot for Joey Spencer.
Yeah.
So they're pumping him up pretty high on like the Charlo cards, everything. Kind of like what they were doing for a little bit. And he's not fighting, what's his face, but David Morrell, he was getting that like pump up too.
I love how you said that because business wise, again, I think that fight, whoever won, which was Ramos, he destroyed him, made it look easy. PBC's showing him out in this card. They're going to show whoever won that fight, on another opportunity. And they handpicked Lubin, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's a great fight. I think Lubin's a recognizable name. I like Lubin. I just kind of what you were saying. I'm not saying chin made of glass or anything, but he can get hurt and he can get dropped and he can get stopped. Ramos looks like he has a brick for a head. He just keeps moving
Dude,
forward,
for real.
and
It's
yeah,
hard. Like
yeah,
it's hard to fight those type of guys. It's like they don't fuck off. It's just
yeah.
like,
Yeah, just moving straight forward, Terminator style, and eventually going to get the knockout. So I do like that. I like that pick as well. We can break down a local guy too, Southtown 101, home of Pub Sports Radio. Mario Barrios returns following, I believe his last bout was Thurman, I want to say, where he lost a decision
yeah,
to Keith
yeah.
Thurman.
Oh, I take that back. No, he fought.
Oh yeah, he won. Yeah, he knocked him out.
Yeah, he knocked. Forget
Yeah,
his name. He destroyed that guy. Like literally, like Giovanni Santiago, round 8
yeah.
knockout.
So he got a comeback win there. Now he's back. Pseudo prime time here. He's taking on Ugas. Ugas we saw him fight Errol Spence. His eye just got like destroyed basically. They stopped the fight late, round 10, round 11. Barrios, good fighter. Now I feel like he's more acclimated to the weight at 147, so he's not like being like pulled thin. When I remember he came to the bar, Southtown, and me and Jeff met him, took a picture with him. I believe he was fighting at 135 at the time. I couldn't believe how tall he was.
Yeah.
He's very tall, very long, lanky, good jab, and definitely fights. I don't want to say he fights the best like style. I feel like he still fights that like Mexican, like Aztec, like as he says, style. But Ugas does tend to kind of slow up, not really throw enough. A lot of Ugas's fights are close. He's not doing enough to like pull away. So I could see Barrios pulling off the upset here, still in the decision. Danny, thoughts on this one? Should be a
I
pretty good
mean,
fight.
yeah, like I told you backstage, I love this bet too. I love this card, like I said. But Barrios plus money line, but I think he wins by decision. Is at plus 400 in FanDuel. I already threw that in parlays. I better, Nate, you smoking something, bro.
Yeah,
Nasty Nate said Charlo smashes. Yeah, I like Barrios, bro. Money line, dude. His money line was like plus 3 something 400 earlier, like this year, and I just missed it.
yeah, it's going
And now
down.
it's like 250 ish.
Yeah.
But I do think this goes the distance. And I love that plus 100. Like Ugas, man, he's 38. I think is a 9-year difference. I think it is, or something like that. And Ugas fighting Spence, and Spence whooped his ass. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like I always say about Spence, besides the last fight, he takes something away from you. Like every time you fight him. And Ugas, like I kept asking people in some breakdowns. I'm like, where's he at? Like he disappeared. He's been in a long layoff. And like you said, he's weird because he'll turn up certain rounds and then like he won't throw a lot, like in a couple other rounds. Like it's wild. Yeah. When like Barrios is more consistent, like his pace is there, and then he'll turn up late too, like always.
Yeah.
I love that about him. I love him at this weight class. Obviously he's gonna have trouble with the top guys, but I love this matchup. At plus money, I'm taking Barrios to get it done. I think he's gonna outwork him. It'll be another great fight. Probably a close one. So give me the plus money, man. Barrios for sure.
Yeah, I like Barrios too because he's not afraid to get hit. And then, as you're saying, he definitely works hard. He does. He was. I don't know if he's going to get back to it. He was doing great body work coming up in his career. He'd always go to the body, target the body, go to the head. Usually finish the opponent off with a body shot, get him out of there. Ugas is tough. Decision makes total sense. Fight goes to decision. I don't know what the odd line is or prop is, but I think that's
it's up there, part 8 piece.
Yeah, I think that's damn near a lock. I don't see either guy stopping each other because Ugas is defensively sound enough to where I don't think he's going to get caught with a massive shot. And Barrios was just in there with Thurman, and Thurman didn't get him out of there. So yeah, I like Barrios to nick a decision. I'm right there with you, as is Alex Rodriguez. Yeah, that should be it. I know Michael here is saying the Contender Series. The Contender Series should be starting on soon. It'll be right after this, I'm sure. Or you could go to that broadcast as well. Contender Series fights are on shortly. I didn't really look in the card, but we know there's always some good money to be made on Dana White's Contender Series. Danny, any other thoughts at all?
Best bet? You want to just get that out the way?
Yeah, go ahead.
Best bet for the Canelo fight, Charlo. Like I said, decision for Canelo minus 110, minus 120 ish. And then I'm gonna sprinkle the draw. But and Barrios money line decision plus 400. I love all these. I love the Ramos by KO minus 150. The one fight that I got still dig into more, Elijah Garcia, which I like this kid a lot.
Yeah.
And then Armando Benedez. Benedez had that upset against Hurd. Got 8 stoppage there. That should be another great fight. These guys, they love to swing and bang. Close fight. I mean, Garcia's like the minus 500. I do see value on Armando. But if I had to pick right now, I'm looking at the fight goes the distance. I think it's plus 116.
Okay.
Because I think these two guys, they never been finished or anything. I don't see any. I haven't seen them hurt or anything either, or knocked down. And I think they're good enough to make it to the fight. It's gonna be one of those bangers that I'm gonna be sweating, like going to the distance. So, love this card. Great fights. You better make sure you tune in because this card's gonna be lit.
Yeah, and there's no UFC this week, so there's nothing to do on Saturday. So Canelo has it by himself. Manuel, they should be live soon for Contender Series. I'm sure they'll give their picks out. Unless
check out my Twitter.
Yeah.
I put mine on my Twitter, Danny Betts.
Okay, yeah, go to Danny's Twitter. I'm sure he's got some picks out there for you. Yeah, I'm going to go with Canelo by KO. I think Canelo is going to actually knock out Charlo.
Just straight up or?
Yeah, I'll just say I see FanDuel has like plus 280, so I'll ride Canelo by KO. Charlo, he's just not defensively sound enough for me. I think he gets hit too cleanly too often. And, I think what we said earlier, I think Canelo has something to prove here to silence some of the doubters. I do think Canelo is still at least top 5, pound for pound, even though he had that loss against Bivol. So, I'm going to go Canelo KO. Ramos should get the knockout. And I do like Barrios to steal a split decision versus Ugas. That should be it for us, guys. Great card. Thanks for all you guys showing up, commenting. If you guys could, like the video, leave a comment down below on your best bets or picks for the video. A lot of Charlo people in the chat. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of Charlo people in the comment section. Just let us know your best bets for this card. We'll be back next week at the very least to recap this huge fight. And I believe Josh Warrington is fighting Lee Wood. Next week.
I'm pretty sure it's next week,
Yeah, so that should be a fun fight as well. But right now, go to the Dana White Contender Series stream. Fellas will be live for that for the next 2.5 hours. Tune into that, and we'll see you guys next weekend. This was the main event on Talkin Hands. So, guys, peace.